Hey, everybody. Good afternoon. This is Chinchwa, your happiness specialist, coming to you live from New York. Workwithchin.com, helping you redesign your life to fulfill its divine purpose. Welcome to another episode of our coffee shop chat. Today I have an interesting story. It's a story I read it this morning, and so it is my hope that it resonates with you, that you take it and do whatever you want with it. So this video is titled "The Story of Fatima, a Lesson in Empathy." The Story of Fatima, a Lesson on Empathy. Alright, so that's the title of this video. When you come on, let me know where you are living in from. Let me know who you are. I will give you a shout out. I'm going to take you on a drive with me. I'm driving into work, so I wanted to do this video. It's hands-free, not touching anything. Still have my eyes on the road. So I'm not saying do your videos while you're driving. Like a mentor of mine always said, listen, if you can, talk and drive, with someone next to you, as talk at the same time when you're driving with someone sitting next to you in a car, then this is not that difficult to do. But I don't suggest it in any way, shape, or form. But I do it safely, so, and I still have my eyes on the road and concentrating. All right, so what's this story I read this morning? It actually made me tear up a little bit. Yeah, so very, stories like that, I guess raise a certain emotion in me. That's just who I am. That's just the kind of person I am. All right, so I'm going to share this story with you. If it resonates with you, go ahead and share it. Someone, you might know a Fatima. You might even be a Fatima right now. You might have a story that's going on with you. You might have a situation that's going on with you that nobody understands, but only you. And people don't know what's going on in your life, and they judge you because of whatever, of how they see you, but they don't really know the intricacies of your own personal life. So that's the story of this lady named Fatima, a young lady. So you might know a Fatima in your life. You might know a Fatima maybe in your family. You might even have Fatima's story. I don't know, but it might resonate. So here it goes. There was a young lady. Her name was Fatima. She went to school at a village where, now mind you, you can you can use any town, any city that you like, to share this story. Hey, Michelle, good to see you. Welcome. Thank you for being here. I appreciate you. Yeah, the video is called "A Story of Fatima, a Story on Humility." Yeah, I'm driving into work, so, but I'm hands-free, though. I got my hands on the wheel, so I love this story because it really, brought up some emotions in me, because I know how this young lady, even though it's an imaginary person, but the story is a human story. It's real. So it goes like this. A young lady named Fatima was going to school in a different village, at a distant village where no one really knew her. So for the first 3 weeks of her school, going to school there, she was late. And like her, I remember when I was a kid growing up in primary school, we used to get caned. We used to get flogged, like corporal punishment, for coming late to school. And we used to walk, over, literally 2 miles in, some of my primary schools that I went to. But the teachers didn't give a crap. If you came late, you were getting whipped, They caned you. It was their form of, punishment, or discipline, rather. Not punishment. They didn't look at it as punishment. It was discipline to get you to actually come to school on time. So this young lady, the first 3 weeks of her school at this new place, she was late. And every single time her teacher would punish her for being late. And, you know, she would just... All right, I don't know where the video stopped. But anyway, for the first 3 weeks, she was going to school. She was late. So nobody knew why. Just like sometimes you won't understand what's going on in people's lives until they tell you. So we can't be too quick to judge. We always have to be empathetic. You know, like I end my videos, like, you know, people having a battle, you know, fighting a battle that you know nothing about, you know, to always be kind. So those first 3 weeks she was late, and she would always, you know, she would get punished. And the fourth week, there was no Fatima. She didn't show up to school. And it was interesting because, you know, her fellow classmates, of course, they knew that she was always late, but nobody really missed her absence, you know, except that, hey, they noticed, you know, Fatima wasn't getting punished for being late, you know, on her fourth week. So, the week number 5, guess who was the first at school in her class? Fatima was there before everybody else showed up. Now, guess what happened? Now, I totally resonate with this. I totally can relate to this because yours truly went through it as a primary school, you know, student, you know, young man, you know, growing up, not knowing any better. Guess what happened? Not only the teacher commended her for being the first one in school that day, you know, on her fifth week of school. But guess what? She also punished her for missing week 4. Right? So, way to reward somebody, right? So, guess what happened? When this happened, Fatima asked the teacher if she could speak freely, you know, if she could say something. And the teacher said, okay. So, Fatima went into this story that really, you know, kind of shook me up a little bit. She said, you know, I was raised by a single mother with no brothers and sisters. She said, for the past 4 weeks, right? For the past 4 weeks, I would cook, I would get up and cook, you know, the food for my mom, and I would bring the food to the hospital for her before coming to school. That's why I was late every day, you know, my first 3 weeks of school. So she said, last week, my mother passed away from her illness. Right? So she told this story, and not a dry eye in the class. Not a dry eye in the class. She said, last week my mother passed away, and we had to bury her. That's why I didn't show up, you know, last week. So this week, because I didn't have to get up early and cook and bring food to my mom at the hospital, I had no one to, you know, to cook for, you know, to bring to a hospital bed before coming to school. That is why I am early today, and I will never be late again to school. And that is the reason why I missed week 4, and the reason why the 3 weeks before I was late to school. So this really brought, you know, waterworks, you know, to the whole class. And the lesson in that is that we shouldn't be too quick to judge other people. We shouldn't be too quick to assume what we think we know about other people's lives. We shouldn't be too quick to look in somebody's situation and say, hey, why isn't this person early to work? Why isn't this person, you know, doing XYZ? Why isn't this person visiting more often? Why isn't this person, you know, calling their family or whatever, or friends more often? And in the meantime, we don't really know what their story is, right? Which brings me to that everyone you meet is fighting a battle you know nothing about. So be kind always. Now, I had this teacher taking the time to find out what was going on in Fatima's life before jumping to conclusion and punishing her for being late for the first 3 weeks of school. She would have understood that this poor young lady had a perfectly good reason why she wasn't making it to school early every day. That she was the only one left to take care of her mom. Now, I can relate to that story because when I was growing up, you know, it reminded me of my my own background. Because, you know, I grew up in a small village, and we actually had to trek on foot to school. You know, some of my schools that I went to were over 2 miles. We had to walk. I used to walk barefoot, by the way. They say that when you walk barefoot that you're closer to the ground. Little joke there. So I can relate. I can see Fatima in my own story. I can see her in my own life. So maybe you can relate. I don't know. Maybe the story resonates with you. But if you are any person that has a heart, you can relate as far as being empathetic, being understanding, being able to see other people and their stories. Being able to put yourself in someone else's shoes before you start judging them too harshly. Or before you start judging them in any way. So that's what I wanted to share with you today, and hopefully, it related, and it resonated with you. Hopefully, you got something out of it. If you did, feel free to share the story. I hope I didn't butcher the story, too much, but at least you get the idea behind the story. The main idea is for us to be always empathetic, because we don't all have the same situations going on in our lives. We don't all have the same things going on in our lives. Everyone has a different story. Everyone has different circumstances. I mean, a perfect example is sometimes, even in our business, sometimes we wonder why some people are a little slower starting in what they joined. We wonder why they're not doing anything. But when we take time to understand and follow up, we come to understand that, hey, this person didn't really know how to start. This person didn't really know what they got themselves, what they got involved in. Or this person maybe lost their phone, maybe lost their iPad, or maybe lost their laptop, and they didn't have any other way to start the business, right? But we won't know that until we follow up with that person, right? Same thing. We won't know what other people's stories are until we actually take the time to care enough, to be understanding enough to find out what their story is. All right, so I wanted to share that with you today on this Saturday. It's nice and sunny. Finally, I think it's a little cold, but, the sun is shining brightly and it is cool. It's real nice in New York. So hopefully the weather is nice where you are. I appreciate you being here, Michelle. I can't read the comments right now, but when I park, I'll be able to read it and respond. And I appreciate you being here. Hope all is well with you. Listen, I enjoyed your post about the event that you went to. I really admire your tenacity and your persistence and consistency, especially in attending live events, and it shows in everything that you've been doing, that you're growing from attending those events and getting to meet new people, getting to learn from people that have what you're looking for. And that is so cool, because a lot of times we, even yours truly included, we make excuses as to why we can't attend a event. So, but I love what you're doing. It's awesome. It's really terrific. So from what I saw, the pictures, you had a good time, and you had a good time meeting and masterminding with the different leaders that you met. So on that note, if you saw this video as a replay, I appreciate you. I appreciate the time. Just drop a hashtag replay so I know you saw it afterwards. And if you got one iota of value, if Fatima's story resonated with you, here's what I want you to do. Go ahead and you can either, orally share the story with someone else, or just go ahead and, it's simpler to share the video. Someone else might get something out of it. You just never know. All right, so I appreciate you. I appreciate the time that you invested in watching the video. If you want to know what it is that I do, because every time you see my video, I tell you that I help people redesign their life to fulfill its divine purpose. There's a reason for that, because I've had a journey myself, and I truly believe that everyone has a divine purpose why they were brought on earth. No one came here by accident. No one came here for zero reason. There's a reason God brought you and I on earth, right? For a divine purpose. You have to find what that purpose is and accomplish it and use that purpose to, change lives, right? So especially this year being the year of new beginnings, I call it also the year of no excuses. Just take time to get better every day. Take time to learn what you don't know. Like my friend Krishana would say, she learned what she didn't know. Take time to learn something different every single day. Every day should not be the same as the previous day. Because sometimes you hear people say, same old, same old. That's bullshit. Life is never same old, same old. Every day that you wake up is something different. It's something new. You're a newer, renewed person, right? So I appreciate you being here. Share the video, share the video, share the video. Thank you for being here. So I'm gonna hop off and end with this, right? Kind of like Fatima's story. Remember that everyone you meet is fighting a battle you know nothing about, absolutely nothing about. So be kind always. Like my good friend Michelle Kind. I think she has the coolest name ever, right? And she is as kind as her name. You just gotta meet Michelle and you'll know. So I appreciate you. Have an amazing, amazing Saturday. Have an amazing, amazing rest of your weekend. Enjoy it. Just, get yourself around the people that want to be around you. People that are moving in the same direction as you. Get away from the negative people. Get away from the naysayers. People that say you can't. People that don't believe in you. People that don't believe enough in themselves, and then they transfer that belief onto you. Stay away from those people, because you're never going to learn anything from them. All right? So that's my message for the day. Remember Fatima's story. All right? It's a story. It's a lesson on humility. Right? Be kind always. Take time to understand what someone else's story is before you judge them. All right? Until the next live, this is Chintwa, your happiness specialist. Oh, by the way, if you want to know what it is that I do, and you want to be a part of our laptop lifestyle freedom team, headed by my tribe leader, none other than Keisha Bass. Let me know in the comments. This tribe has a digital franchise system that, everybody's leveraging one single dollar, 100 pennies into amazing results. What we call 1K a day formula. If you want to know what that is, send me a private message. Let me know in the comments. I'll be more than happy to share it with you. Listen, it's not for everybody. It's very simple, but at the same token, you got to do some work. You just have to, listen, you got to be able to be coachable. You got to be able to, follow instructions. Because if you are like the person that Misha Wilson talked about a couple of days ago, someone that wanted a push button, formula where they didn't have to do any work, that's bullshit. If that's what you think this is, you know, it's okay. Don't worry. You don't need to send me a message. All right. But if you're someone that's willing to learn something new, right? That's willing to open up your mind, kind of like a parachute, so that your mind will really work. Okay. Send me a message or let me know in the comments. I'll share with you what it is that I do. Hey Jen, good to see you. Welcome. Thank you for being here. Yes, I'm driving, but I'm hands-free. So I'm just talking to the camera. I'm not touching the camera. I'm not holding it. My eyes are on the road. All right, I appreciate you. I'm going to respond to your comments, once I park. Thank you for your support. You guys rock. All right? So that was the story of Fatima. Hopefully it made sense to you, because it made a ton of sense to me. It made me a little emotional because, it kind of resonated with my own upbringing, my story as a kid. So I saw Fatima in my little village, getting up every day and, walking to school. And in the meantime, no one knew her story. No one knew her life story. And she wasn't complaining. That's the other thing I want to, leave with you. She didn't complain. She didn't cry. She didn't whine. Right? She just took a punishment for being late, every day for 3 weeks. And no one knew why. The teacher just punished her, but she didn't complain. Until finally, she had to tell her story to help everybody understand what was going on. All right? So you might know it, Fatima. I appreciate you guys. Thank you for being here. Until the next live, this is Chinchwa, your happiness specialist. Take care. Ciao. Bye for now.